What's up, guys? Josh, Strength Side, checking in. Today we are going to talk about how to really fix your anterior pelvic tilt, okay? Now, I've seen a lot of videos on this subject, and most of them give you some stretches you can do. They give you, maybe teach you how to strengthen your glutes a little bit more. And while this is great, and it will help you a little bit, it's more like a quick fix, okay? It's more like putting a Band-Aid on the issue. But what we really need to do is we really need to get down to the underlying issue of what is causing this anterior pelvic tilt and this overextension in your lower back. All right. Now, what is it? Like, what is causing that? Well, it's one of two things. It is either a postural issue or it is a movement pattern issue. Okay, and in most cases, it's both of those two things. All right. Now, first thing we got to do, we're going to learn how to control our hips, okay? Now, most people that I have worked with that have overextension issues, they don't know how to control their pelvis at all, okay? They don't know how to tilt it back, tilt it forward, okay? So that is the first thing that we need to learn how to do, because if you can't control your pelvis, then, you know, your movement is going to be all off, okay? And you're not going to be able to do different types of movement. So, first thing we're going to do a very simple exercise. It's a yoga pose. We're gonna get down on some cat-cow, okay? So, we're gonna get down here into a tabletop position, okay? And first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the cow position, okay? Now, cow, we're gonna come and we're gonna get that arched back, okay? Now, this is gonna be an easy position for an overextended anterior pelvic tilted person to get into. This is what they're going to want to default to. Now, what's important is that we really focus on the opposite, coming back into cat, okay? So we come back into cat, and we're trying to get some flexion in the spine there, okay? And this is where we need to be moving towards, okay? So let's take a look at this. We're on the cow, arched back. Oh, and hey, anterior pelvic tilt in the hips, right? We go up into cat. Oh, what do you know? Posterior pelvic tilt going on now, okay? So we practice this movement. We practice moving both ways, and we're starting to learn how the hips work in junction with the spine, okay? So now that, you know, we've done that and we're learning how to control our hips more, now what we got to do is we got to learn how to do those same movements while we're standing up, okay? Because we're not going to be down on all fours all throughout the day, right? We're going to be standing up doing different activities throughout the day. So now we want to do those same positions, okay? So let's get into that cow position. This is the overextend. I'm going to tuck my shirt in for you guys here. Look at that. All right. So this is the cow position, overextended anterior pelvic tilted position, okay? Now, let's move into the cat position. Oh, okay. Now we get the rounded spine going, and we get the posterior pelvic tilt going, okay? Boom. And we're back, and we're here, okay? So now, we're learning how to move our hips while we're standing up, okay? This is the basis of how you're gonna fix your anterior pelvic tilt, okay? Because what is happening? Well, we're in this position too much. We're in the cow position. What do we got to do? We got to move back into the cat position more, okay? So let's do, let's first fix how we stand, okay? Because before we can fix, how we run, how we squat, how we pick something off the floor, you got to fix how you stand, okay? So let's take an anterior tilted, overextended position here, and let's move this back into cat, okay? So let's try to round the back more and bring the hips forward more into that posterior tilt. Hey, what do you know? Now I got a pretty neutral back here, okay? So now we're learning how to get this neutral spine, neutral back, good hips, without even learning about contracting glutes or contracting hip flexors, right? Because if you learn how to move your hips to move into posterior pelvic tilt, you got to use your glutes to do that. You got to use your abs to do that, right? And, you know, but we don't have to sit there and say, oh, I got to strengthen my glutes through tons and tons of, you know, hip raises, glute bridges, all that stuff. No, we just learn how to fix this hip tilt, okay? And we learn how to go both ways, okay? So now that we've learned how to stand efficiently, let's take it one step further. Let's walk, okay? So here is kind of a normal anterior pelvic tilted walk, right? You're here, you got the chest out, boom, big arch in the back, and we're walking. Got the duck butt going, basically, right? So let's fix that. Let's get into our good standing position now. So we bring the hips forward, boom, we try to get more posterior tilt, and now while we walk, we think about that. I'm here, I'm tilted forward, right? I'm posterior tilting, boom, boom. Now I'm walking in a good neutral position, okay? So now we can stand, now we can walk, right? What's the third thing that we gotta talk about that everybody does too much of? We gotta learn how to sit better, okay? Now this is a big one. Because if you're really anterior pelvic tilted, then sitting is just crushing you right now, alright? Because you're sitting like this. Boom, you have no abs turned on. You're probably thinking, oh, I got my shoulders back, right? Like, I'm doing all right. I'm not slumped forward. You're not doing all right. You're way too much arched the other way, okay? So now we're here, maybe we're on the computer or something, we're working, da-da-da-da, and your back is just taking a beating all day long, okay? So what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna start with our good standing position. We're gonna tilt the hips more forward, and we're gonna stay in that position as we sit down, okay? So we get seated here. We keep those hips tilted forward in that posterior position. We keep a little bit more tension in the abs here. And hey, now we're in a good sitting position, okay? It's hard to fire your glutes while you're sitting, but if you're conscious of it, you can get a little glute activity to keep you in that posterior tilted position, all right? So now you're working all day long, you're doing whatever you want to do in a good position, all right? So, in conclusion, it is not an easy fix to fix anterior pelvic tilt, okay? You can't just take 10 to 15 minutes a day to stretch your hip flexors and to, you know, do hip raises to strengthen your glutes. All that stuff will help, but it needs to be a 24/7 thing. You need to be conscious of it all the time, okay? You need to be thinking, get myself back into a good position throughout all your activities during the day, okay? And you're not going to be able to bring that into exercise, like I mentioned, sprinting or, you know, deadlifting or squatting. You're not going to be able to bring that into that until you fix it in your just standing, walking, and sitting, okay? You want to just be able to do those everyday activities with a good position, okay? So let's take control of this. You know, let's get our hips in a good position and take control of our back, all right? Hey, hope that helps you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.